The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everyone. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Our guest speaker today is Dave Pimper. Dave is going to talk about in-service non-hardship withdrawals. There's a lot of opportunity around qualified funds in general. I think one of the least understood and greatest opportunities is in the 401k or qualified funds in-service non-hardship withdrawal opportunities. So Dave is going to spend some time and talk about that. During the course of the event, we'll have a couple of polls that'll pop up. We'll have some opportunities for you to type in your questions, and we'll try and answer them. Generally speaking, we do that towards the end of the webinar. So it should be a good meeting today. Again, my name is Steve Murray with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. My basic job here is to make sure we get the right product, service, the right incentives, and then the right training to help you be successful. So appreciate all your feedback along those lines. Anything that we can do to help you here at IAMS, that's what we're all about, is trying to make independent producers more successful and find ways to help them build their business, which helps us build our business. So thank you all for joining us here this morning. Please, if you have any questions, ask them quickly. If the polls pop up and you have a minute to answer them quickly, we appreciate that as well. Let's go ahead and get started here today. Make the screen move. There we go. A couple of programs that I want you to be aware of, and many of you already are. I'm just looking at our list of attendees, and many of you have already been with us for months, years, decades, some, so appreciate your business. But for those of you aboard here that are not familiar at all with these two programs, please take a minute and refer to our Preferred Producer Program and Marketing Reimbursement. These are two programs that we cut checks out to our producers. One is in the marketing reimbursement. When you do business and you send that business into IAMS, it gets issued, then money goes in your marketing reimbursement account, and you can then use the reimbursement on a dollar-for-dollar basis for anything that you do to grow your business. So whether you're doing mailing or doing Facebook advertising or printing up brochures or whatever it is that you do to grow your business, we will gladly participate in helping you to with that expense by matching your expense dollar for dollar. Referred Producer Program is another simple program. We built our business over the last 32, now 33 years, really from referrals of our producer partners out in the field. I don't see that ever changing. About 7 or 8 years ago, we put in place the RPM program to reward those. Those are now some of the bigger checks that we send out. And you can see from the note before you how the program works. It's pretty simple. When you refer somebody and they get appointed with us, we'll send you out a check for $50, which is great. Great to have maybe you can go out to dinner or lunch, depending on where you live in the country. But the real money comes after that. We send out checks pretty much quarterly. Some go out monthly, and they're just your reward. So when they do business on an ongoing basis, we send you a small bonus that does not come out of their pockets. I know people get a little edgy about that. It's money that comes directly from our advertising budget, and we would much rather pay you all than pay a magazine or pay a email company or pay whatever else that we can pay to try and meet new people. We'd much prefer to meet them via you all and be paying you. So when they do business, money goes into your RPM. RPM checks go out automatically, and right now most of those go out quarterly. Anytime a check gets to be over 1,000 or so on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, we'll go ahead and send that check out. We want to get the money in your hands. It's really one of our favorite checks that we send out is the RPM. It means a lot to us, and we appreciate all of your referrals. New Producer Builders, pretty simple program. Again, for those of you that are brand new with us, any business that you do during your first 180 days, you're going to be can qualify towards any one of these levels. So you can see some of the things that we make available to you, whether it's an iPad or get your website in place or throw out you a little cash bonus. At the 300,000 point level, there's marketing reimbursement. We can pad that account substantially. We can get you in the Social Security business. At the 500,000 level, we can get you one-on-one coaching and do your first mailing for both Social Security with Dave, 401k seminars with Dave. We can probably even use that towards radio broadcasting as well. We can also do seminar mailing for you in conjunction with one of our other producer coaches, Matt Gill, or if you just want to go on a nice trip to the Ritz-Carlton, we'll pay for that as well. So we want to reward you for doing business with us right out of the gate. It's a little bit of a lost leader for us, but we know that when you get started with us fast and start doing business on a regular basis, you're going to love the service that you get. So it's a great way for us to grow our business and a great way to start off a relationship on a solid footing with a new producer. Upcoming training. So we've got one coming up here in late May, which I do not believe is yet full. So if you have interest, for instance, in joining us for one of our academies, I'm going to leave this up for just a second. Then I'm going to put a poll up, and I want you to put yes or no. Yes, I have interest. No, I do not have interest. So our life and annuity academies are really across the industry pretty prized right now. The guys and gals that have been in have really spread the word. It is a very good training. It's really built around sales and marketing. We have top producers. We have vendors that are very strong in helping you meet new people via new marketing campaigns. We talk about radio. We'll talk about seminars. We'll talk about digital advertising. We'll talk about websites. Basically, we spend a lot of time talking about marketing to grow your business. So that's what I think, call from your all standpoint probably the most interesting and most beneficial. We also go through some sales pathways that are very, very useful. We all know and we're all comfortable that if we get in front of enough people that we're going to get our share of sales. Our goal there with talking about some other sales ideas is to maximize that part of your business. So we talk about that as well. And then it's important to know products. We're going to spend some time on product. Frankly, by the time someone gets invited into one of these academies, we feel like that product is a little bit of a secondary issue. So we're going to make sure that you know the ins and outs, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on product. We can do that one-on-one with you over the phone after you return, but we will spend a little time on product. And then, of course, the last thing that we talk about fairly substantially, we'll spend some definite time, which is as important a part of this, I think, is anything. A most important part of the success of your business. We'll kind of delve into what's happening on a regulatory front, what's happening in the business, what are the trends in the business that you need to know about. So it ends up to be a pretty full schedule. I put a poll up there, so if you have interest in joining us for one of our academies, hit yes. What will happen if you hit yes is you'll get the last agenda, so you can kind of see the hour by hour what goes on, and then you also get a registration form. You can then, after you look at the agenda, if you choose to register, then that puts you in the pool of interested parties that we then call. And like I said, we got one in May. We'll have one probably in the summertime, and then we'll have one in the fall. So we got 3 left this year that we can invite you into. They're 3-day time frame. So we come in Wednesday, usually start some things there Wednesday night. We go all day Thursday, have dinner, a little social hour, and then we go Friday, and we try and get you out and back to your respective cities and towns, usually by Friday at 12:30 after lunch. So you're going to be out of your office for 3 days. We're going to take care of the expenses. So we'll take care of your flight. We'll take care of your driving expenses. We'll take care of your hotel. We'll take care of meals while you're there, maybe the occasional libation or two as well. So what's out of pocket for you is the time, and of course then the effort post to make sure that you take full advantage of everything you can. A lot of times when guys leave, we will give you a nice portfolio that as the event progresses, you'll be able to fill in notes. And so what happens a lot of times, the guys and gals make notes as they go along. And 85% of what gets presented there are things that you can do very easily and with just a little bit of help, either from somebody in-house, our creative team, one of the guys or gals that presents, that can help your business right away. And then there's some other larger scale things that you can do, whether you decide, hey, radio is something I want to do, or I want to start doing this seminar or that seminar. I need the help and coaching to do that. That's kind of what happens at those academies or post those academies. So if you have interest, hit yes. If you don't have interest, or if you've been in the last year or two, hit no. If you do, if you've been in the last year or two and you want to come back in, certainly respect that. We want to give as many new people as we can the opportunity to come back in, but we will entertain bringing you back in. If that's something that a refresher or seeing what's happening now might be beneficial to you, just give me a call. You see our 800 number there, 800-255-5055. Just touch base with me or any sales director and say, hey, I was in last year or the year before, and I'd really like to come back in. I've got some specific reasons or things that I need to see or get freshened up on. We'll certainly consider that as well. As I mentioned, we've got May 8th through the 10th. That one is in Des Moines. We'll probably do one here in Omaha in the summertime. We'll do one in conjunction with another carrier, probably late fall. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to come in if it's something that fits into your schedule and something that you understand that is going to be valuable to you. With that, I'm going to close that out. I see there's about 6 of you that haven't voted, so we appreciate your quick voting on that. If those of you that were not able to vote, if you have a question that you want to talk with me about, give me a call here at the office. We'll be done with this webinar at about 11. I'll be available 11:15 on. Give me a call sooner rather than later, especially if the 8th through the 10th are dates that are of interest to you. That one will fill up. Is filling up right now. So we need to get right on that for sure. Number again, 800-255-5055. Call and ask for me. I'm going to close that poll out. We're going to get moving right on here. Thank you all, by the way, for your quick responses there. We'll get Ritz-Carlton is upcoming. We're going to be out there in August. Qualification for our Top Producer Summit ends at the end of June. And it takes 3 million of qualification credits. Qualification credits are $1 for dollar on annuity, and about 13 to 1 or 12 to 1 on life target premium. Well, single premium counts about 1.5 times, and then everything else that you do also counts, whether it's MedSup, long-term care at different levels. You can kind of see some of that before you there on the screen. We'd love to have you join us down there. It's going to be a great time. We've had a lot of requests for a hot, sunny beach. I think we're going to find it there in beautiful Naples. It's a beautiful area. We'll do some golfing, of course. We'll do some other things while we're there. Have plenty of opportunity for exploring the area, whether you want to go on a one of those wind boats or ballooning or parasailing. There's all kinds of stuff to do in that area. We'd love to have you join us down there. That, by the way, is qualification for you and your spouse. Okay, we'll move on from there. So, morning, Dave.
Good morning, Steve. How are you doing?
Very, very well. I sped through that because I really want to get on to the topic of in-service non-hardship withdrawals. I know we get great questions, a lot of interest in this particular webinar, so I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. As many of you know, Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching. Besides being a coach, obviously his main business is production. He's been a great producer for us for 12, 14 years now. Been coaching with us just about that long as well, but he's been in the business since the early 80s, closing in right now on 500 consumer level seminars, and he's doing seminars right now on Social Security claiming, 401k, and other qualified funds, opportunities, and he's going to talk today about the opportunities around in-service non-hardship withdrawals. There's always a lot of questions here, which we love. I would encourage you all to go ahead and type them in as we go along. At the end, we'll have one final poll, and certainly if you have interest in more information, we can make that available to you as well. So without further ado, let me introduce the coach, Mr. Dave Pimper.
Good morning, everyone. Well, one thing that Steve Murray had just talked about that scared me to death when he said it was the word parasailing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, quick story. Back in 1980, I've been married 38 years, so this was in 1980. I got married in 81. A buddy and I went down to Cancun, and Cancun was pretty darn new then. We actually stayed in a youth hostel, which we call the youth hostage. And we went parasailing one day. First of all, I hate heights. I just hate heights. And the second thing is I thought I was going to drop out of the air out of this cracked leather suit. Oh my gosh, it was the worst experience of my life. Here's a second cool thing today. Why I'm excited to give it, I'm calling this the Dave Pimper birthday webinar. I'm 64 years old today. So see, I'm giving webinars on my birthday. I'm working on my birthday. This is the way it's supposed. This is what I envision life to be. Absolutely. I'm having a blast doing it. Still in full production. Coach a lot of folks on marketing, on sales process, and today we're going to talk about in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans. If you work the or the retirement age group. If that's the group that you're working and you don't work in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan, shame on you, because it is a wonderful way to go in and to up your production. What happens with non-hardship withdrawal plans is there are many advisors that maybe know a little bit about it, but they certainly really don't understand it in its entirety. And so what happens is, and Steve, have you shot me over the controls on this? I don't know if Steve's still there or not. For some reason, I can't.
I'll shoot him over right now.
Okay, thank you very much. What happens is that this is a great way to go in and to find money that you normally are not going to find. So let's just talk about what is a in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan or distribution, sometimes called a 59.5 rule. So if you read the definition, a withdrawal made from a qualified plan. So what's a qualified plan? A 401k, a 403b, a 457 government, thrift savings, federal thrift savings. All of those could have in their plan documents an in-service withdrawal distribution availability. But there has to be some kind of triggering event. Most of the talk, this is if they're the age of 59.5 years or older. That's the triggering event, meaning you're still working for hypothetical, you're still working for IBM, you're still working for Microsoft, you're still working for whoever that plans, the company you work for, you're still working for them, you're over the age of 59.5. And then what the option does, it allows certain plan participants to receive some or all of their retirement assets from that 401k, let's say, while they're still employed there, but they have to be 59.5 or older. You will find that over half of the 401k plans, or 403bs, 457s, thrift savings, half of those have this option available. We just rolled over $559,600 to a fella that works for a manufacturing firm, and he's been the CFO there for years and years and years. And what happens is that hey Steve, could you mute your mic real quick, Steve?
Yep, got it.
Mute your mic. Thank you. So what happens is that he contacted me and he said, I'm just really unhappy with my options with my 401k, and he's getting closer to retirement, but he's not stopping yet. And so he had done other business with me, but I said, you may have an option within your plan, and the plan sponsor was Fidelity. We called Fidelity, and sure enough, they have the in-service non-hardship withdrawal provision, and he moved out everything. Now, sometimes it's partial moves out. Like I talked to a person yesterday, they got in, it's his current 401k. He's 62 years of age, has 608,000, and he would consider moving out 500,000, still working for the firm. Now, I haven't gotten that yet, but you're working with some bigger dollars when you're looking at this in-service non-hardship withdrawal. They like the idea of gaining control. This first fella at the CFO for the little manufacturing company, he had it in a stable value fund, and those are available. They're not available retail, but they're available through retirement savings plans like a 401k, and he's earning 1.41% is what he earned the last year. And we moved, interesting, I normally kind of holistically divide that money up, but this money all went into the fixed indexed annuity because, he loved the caps. We had caps over 6%. And so he was very open, and we had the check made out to the new custodian, the new insurance company, mailed to his house. He just dropped it off yesterday. Without that provision, he would have had to been retired and left employ before we would have gone on in and been able to work with that money. So it really is quite a benefit. If you have any questions at all, certainly type them on in. I'll be more than happy to answer. So here's 5 thoughts. They're basically rules. You got to be at least 59.5 to participate the particular in-service non-hardship withdrawal, like I said, it's available. Also, thrift savings but mainly company retirement plans is where you'll see them. So it's not on an individual IRA; it's on a company retirement plan. You want to ask if it's available. Sometimes the company, if you take all of it, they'll make you sit out for 6 months before you can add back to it. Once in a great while, they won't do the company match, just the money that you put on in. So I mean, but most of the time it's not. But once in a while, I ran on a post office plan where she wanted to take all of it. We ended up taking a partial, but all of it, she would have had to stop for 6 months. As long as you transfer it from custodian to custodian, there's no 20% withholding tax that is taken out. Sometimes you need a spousal consent to do this, so the spouse knows because she's probably the primary beneficiary. Sometimes they have to sign off. Like the last two, neither one of them do you have to. And if there's loans, those loans have to be paid first because they have to be paid before you can go and take the monies out. Need to have worked there for 2 or 5 years, which everybody that I work with does. And it's a tax-free transfer. It grows tax deferred. Eventually, there's taxes on it, but it's into an individual retirement account, into an IRA. Why do people do it? More freedom, more control, more options. More is better when you're getting up there in age, getting in that pre-retirement or just retired years. Yeah, options are very, very important. People like to have control, and so what happens is that when you start looking at 401k versus IRA, like this fella, he wanted to keep all his money guaranteed, and he hated earning less than 1.5%. The chance of earning much more than that through a fixed index was very appealing to him. If it wasn't, he was 63 or 4 years of age, was still going to work for a year or two. Without knowing this, there was no way that we would have worked for it. Gives your prospects some choices, alternatives, options. They're all good for your clients and your prospects, I guarantee you. So why does the company offer an in-service withdrawal provision? I thought they kind of wanted to keep all the money there. Well, they do, but let's talk about the reasons. First of all, when people get older and the bulk of their assets, I saw 3 people yesterday. 2 were from seminars and 1 was from Retirement Boss Radio. That's a radio show that we have. In fact, I'm recording it right after our webinar today at 11:15 Central. What happens is that I like to stay in front of people. I had 2 Social Securities and I had 1 Retirement Boss Radio appointment. The Retirement Boss Radio appointment, we do an hour show once a week on a major AM talk station, which is in Omaha called KFAB, and we're opening that up too. That's available for marketing and I work strictly with IAMS. It's trademarked, Retirement Boss Radio. Take charge of your money. And if you want, and I'll just bring this up, if you want more information on Retirement Boss Radio, just go to www.retirementbossradio.com. www.retirementbossradio.com. You'll kind of get an idea. But this first one came in, and I'll tell you, 1.4 million of investable assets, and that was the one where there was a chance of the 600,000 non-hardship withdrawal plan. What we're talking about today. I had 2 other seminar. One was just really there for the information, had some assets, couple $100,000, but nothing to work with. The other one has a dormant 401k that's 280,000, and it's been dormant for quite a while. And he was open to let me propose on that. So yesterday, we're looking at nearly $1 million that I'm proposing on, and that's what marketing. That's what asking about in-service non-hardship withdrawals. One was yesterday. He had no idea. You know what I did? That one was Mass Mutual, was his custodian. We just called Mass Mutual. I just asked, is there a 59.5 rule? Is there a non-hardship rule here? In-service non-hardship, and there was. And so I said, can you explain what his options are? So instead of me explaining it, she was explaining it for me. And she basically, the person from Mass Mutual, the lady that service rep, basically kind of opened up and said, here's the options, here's what you can do. And then I reiterated, of course, that we hung up, and he's open, to do that. So it's a pretty neat way to go in and find assets that you never did. And from a marketing standpoint, again, you have a chance to mark yes if you've got some interest, not just in service non-hardship withdrawal information, but maybe marketing seminars or marketing radio. Absolutely mark yes, and we can talk more about that and talk about cost and what's the value and kind of the end game plan. But you know what? In our business, the more people you get in front of, the more successful you're going to be. End of story. End of absolute story. So the reason companies offer this is so they can be more competitive for their employees, no doubt. People get up there in age, they think, if they want to move their money, they certainly can. That's why 60% of the companies today offer in-service non-hardship withdrawals. Called a phased retirement, remain employed by reducing their work hours, but they need some money on the outside to maybe supplement. You can't take it from the 401k, but you can take it from an IRA, so they'll move a portion of that money out to that. Employer liability, yeah. You know what? Let's say, and he wouldn't because he's the CFO of the company, this person that was at $559,000. Let's just say it's a big company, and he goes on in and competitive, you can absolutely get fixed annuities out there with a 3.5 to 4% rate. He's getting 1.41, so he has $500,000. I mean, he's been there one of the longest in the plan. The entire plan only has about $2.5 million. He's got $500,000 of it. So what happens? He goes in, but if it was a big company, he'd say, hey, you were not competitive at all with the guaranteed rate compared to what we could get out here. I'm going to sue you. Well, whether it's frivolous or not, anybody can sue for any reason. But here, if they have an in-service non-hardship withdrawal provision, they would have said, look it, Mr. Employee, you have the option to take your money out. Could have took all of it or part of it. It was right there. They really don't advertise it. Most people don't know they have it. But it's right there. You could have took your money out and you never did. You could have been more competitive on the outside, but you never did. You left it here. That's on you, not on us. Yeah. So it reduces the employer liability. And, of course, you kind of know of a little litigious atmosphere that we're in right now. So the advantages of in-service withdrawal plan. Got more choices in an IRA than you do in a 401k. No doubt about it. You have full control of your money. How much professional guidance do you have? And I always say face-to-face, because they do all kind of stuff on the phone. Vanguard now is coming on out. Fidelity's coming on out. And they charge so much per month, but it's all done by phone. Well, the money is one of the most important things that your client, your prospects have. It's like having a dating relationship on the phone. It's much better face-to-face. That's what we offer, that professional guidance and face-to-face advice. Income planning, which is that pre-retired and retired, beneficiary options to stretch IRAs out. Well, are there disadvantages? Yeah, there's a few disadvantages. One is maybe people are familiar with the Fidelity, Vanguard, Mass Mutual, T. Rowe Price, American Funds, whatever they have. I had another one on Friday that was, off of an old Edward Jones statement, and I said, I bet they got a lot of American Funds. And not that American Funds are bad, it's just that that's their go-to, and yeah, 3/4 of it was American Funds. Growth Fund of America, Investment Company of America, New Perspective, Euro Pacific. I mean, just on and on and on. It's very, very common. You get much more diversity outside of a 401k. Fees can be higher or lower. There's a lot of hidden fees in the 401k. The administrative fee is one of the largest fees, and you have to dig deep, deep, deep in the prospectus, the plan administration plan to find it. But if it's a small plan, it can run as high as 1 to 1.5%. If it's a big, big plan, it probably runs at least 0.5%. So when they said there's no cost, I mean, there's cost to administer the majority of plans, believe me. Want all of your 401k monies together? Yeah, you might want to do that. Maybe not have it separately out with an advisor. There could be a small $20 to $50 transfer cost to move from the custodian. So there are some disadvantages there. So if you want to find out if the company has an in-service non-hardship withdrawal provision, in the old days, 10 years ago, 12 years, I used to say, hey, just talk to the human resource director, whoever handles the retirement plan, for the 401k, the 403b. But we found that it's much easier. You just get the statement, you find out who the custodian is, you have the client conference with you on the line or right there on the speakerphone, and you just say, hey, my broker dealer happens to be Calton Associates. This is Dave Pimper with Calton Associates. I'm an advisor in Fremont, Nebraska. I've got one of your participants in the XYZ company 401k, and his name is John Doe. Hey, John, say hi. They'll say, is it, find out who it is. Is it okay if the name speaks? And then you just say, hey, do you have a 59.5 rule? It's got an in-service non-hardship withdrawal on this provision. In the last 2 weeks, I had two others that I'm telling you, I mean, they wanted to do it. They're going to be working for a while. They're both early 60s, but neither one of those had the in-service non-hardship withdrawal. If you don't ask, you don't get. It's biblical. If you don't ask, you won't find out if it is. But what I say is, first I want to see if it's available. People like the idea of having options, control of their own money. So whether it's Vanguard, Mass Mutual, American Funds, Fidelity, just call them that 800 number. You can't get the information unless you have your client on the phone with you. We work with a lot of partials. One of those ones yesterday, was a partial, 500,000 off of 600,000, 638,000. But you're giving them options normally they don't have now. They may not have that guaranteed option if you work for the insurance side. They may not have that fee under management option that they have, from the fee-based side. Okay, you usually have to work there at least 2 out of 5 years, but it very well could make their portfolio better. It could make it closer to what they're expecting it. And remember, I always say it's not how good the good years are; it's how good the bad years are. Everybody does fine when the market's good, when interest rates are with you, when the economy is strong, when everything's pumping. Yeah, everything's good. When things get rough, tough, that's where having some insurance from a fixed index annuity. I'm not pushing that. I'm just saying, I do a radio show, and one of the big things is about avoiding large losses. We try to avoid large losses, with our clients. Get a load of this. If you have a 50% loss, you need 100% gain to gain it back. It could take years and years and years. If you have a 20% loss, it takes a 26% gain to get back to even, not nearly as bad. If you have a 10% loss, you need 11% gain to get back to even. So I tell you what, over 20%, it really starts to raise havoc of how long you've got to go in and wait for that market to come back. It could be years. In fact, 2001 and 2 was over 5 years, or right at 5 years. 2007, 8, 9, it jumped a lot, so it's just under 3 years, but still 2.5 or 3 years out of getting back to even. That's rough. And so avoiding those large losses is what a lot of those people they want. So you kind of find those steps. So working with partial distributions, we do lots of those. I'm giving them options that they didn't have. I'm giving them new information they didn't have from before. And again, like I said, you hope that it does make their portfolio better. You shouldn't be doing it if it doesn't help them. Judge Billings learned hand said anyone may so arrange his affairs that his taxes shall be as low as possible. Nobody owes any public duty to pay more than the law demands. So you're saving on taxes by rolling it over. You don't have any. It's a tax-free transfer. I mean, it grows tax deferred, but of course it's a direct rollover. Do not take that money and made out to you. If you do from a 401k, they're going to take 20% out. You can pay it back within 60 days, but my gosh, you can only do one of those every year out of all of your IRAs. So be careful. Make sure it's a custodian transfer. Continue tax deferral, more options. Yeah, kind of with control your money. And stretching, you normally don't stretch out of a retirement plan. You can out of a company retirement plan, but normally they don't want to go in and have the cost of the administration behind that to do it. All right? Here's another kind of interesting thing when you talk about the stock market or losses in general. Say you invest, you have 10% the first year, you have 10% the second year, up 10% the third year. In the fourth year, you're down 10%, up 10, up 10, up 10, down 10. Most people think you got to get 20% to average 10% a year. You need 34%. 34% to average 10% a year if you're down 10 after 3 up years of 10. Yeah. Large losses are hard to come back from. And I love this. I said 0 loss takes 0 gain to get back. That's what happens with your fixed indexed annuity financial strategy. I kind of made this up. I never heard it. It's not how good the good years are. It's how good the bad years are. And I got that from my golf game. My golf game is pretty average, but it's not how good your good shots are. It's how good your bad shots are. Same way when it comes to investing. Same way of making money on your money. If you can take care of your bad years, your good years will take care of yourself. And that's really kind of the definition of fixed indexed annuities. I love Will Rogers. It's not the return on my investment that I'm concerned about. It's the return of my investment. Isn't that the darn truth? Yeah. Presented over, it's 493 public seminars. I got 2 more coming up at the end of this month. Those happen to be on Social Security. I started the financial arena in 1981. I'm 64 years old today, and I have no interest of retiring. I like coaching. I've coached for over 25 years in one capacity or another. And I try to make subjects like in-service non-hardship withdrawal a little easier to understand. Social Security, which is a very, very complicated subject, easier to understand. I have a 401k IRA rollover seminar that I put together. It doesn't have a FINRA review letter with it. And so does the Social Security, though that's third party. And there's a lot of, we talk about beneficiaries, we talk about Roth conversions, we talk about QLACs, qualified longevity annuity contracts, deferring RMDs, we talk about the rollovers, indirect, we talk about just in-service non-hardship withdrawals, and I'm looking for that person who's looking at just about retiring. That's Retirement Boss Radio. I'm looking for that and just retired, that person that's in transition in their life, maybe not just within their personal life, but also within their money life. Because that's a big decision of when to take Social Security. It's a big decision of when to retire. It's a big decision of what to do with my 401k. It's probably their biggest asset as an investment asset. Yeah, that transitioning is where I can help. But I coach one-on-one. It isn't one of my assistants. I've got 3 administrators, Amy, Lynn, and Lori, and they do a great job of keeping the paperwork out of my hands. So my expertise is production. My expertise is marketing, getting people in front of people. And I'll tell you right now, if you market in-service non-hardship withdrawals, which we do have a seminar specifically for that also, it's very narrow, but we don't get as many people to come. But the ones that do, you have to have, the trigger is that you've got to be around companies. So if you say, attention IBM, Exxon, and Microsoft employees, knowing all of those, did you know you have an in-service non-hardship? If you're over the age of 59 and a half, so it could be good in larger cities to go in and earmark that a workshop like that. Okay? So if you work with me, we have personal one-on-one. We have 4 to 5 sessions. The cost of coaching is normally, the majority of that is paid for by IAMS, the FMO, which Steve Murray is one of the co-owners of IAMS. But the cost that you pay me is a couple $100, $195 usually for 5 coaching sessions. And then you can use me. I'm kind of like a board of directors. As long as you're contracted through the FMO of IAMS, Insurance Agency Market Services, as long as you're doing or attempting to do business through IAMS, you can use me with any of your questions. So that's kind of a nice situation that a lot of FMOs do not offer, that kind of assistance within your practice. So I always say this, I love the thinker. I got a little man cave downstairs. We smoke a cigar too in. I got a little thinker down there. But remember this: the majority of near retirees, they don't really understand. They're not aware that even an in-service non-hardship withdrawal exists. And you can just tell, you can say, wow, I never even knew that. Why didn't my company tell me that? because they don't. They want you to keep the money in the plan. It's normally they're doing it because of liability lots of times. And there's decisions you can help with your client to maybe go in and go down that path of using a in-service non-hardship withdrawal. So if you saw something today that you think, you know, I would like to talk to Dave Pepper. I'd like to go in. Believe me, it's a laid-back call. I'm trying to help you with information on in-service non-hardship withdrawal, but also, is there a way to market it for me to get in front of more people, get a game plan going? You know, that kind of coaching really kind of really helps you. So it says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow. Well, you know what? It never comes, does it? Tomorrow never comes. Don't let that happen to you. People who take action are the most successful in life. Advisors, agents who take action with different kind of marketing, different kind of education platforms are normally the most successful in their practice. And in our business, we rate success by normally the bottom line of how much of that production comes in. But I'll tell you what, it's how much of that production comes in efficiently for you. I'm the type of person that I like to wake up each day. I like to look at my calendar, and I like to know that I've got a whole bunch of face-to-face appointments, because that's how I make money. It's not, I use the phone a lot, but it's harder to go on in and can convey a thought than it is of sitting down face-to-face. And I like to inject my business with a lot of brand new appointments, brand new prospects. And that's why marketing is a mainstay for myself. So Steve is going to put up a poll here, and that poll is going to ask, would you like to go in and get more information on in-service non-hardship withdrawal? It might be Social Security seminars, 401k IRA rollover seminars, might be in-service non-hardship withdrawal seminars, it might be marketing retirement boss radio, anything that revolves around marketing, anything that revolves about in-service non-hardship withdrawal. Mark yes, and we can talk, get some ideas out there. I'd love to talk with you. And Steve, can you put that I guess Steve will put that slide up here just in a second. Or yeah, there it is. And then I'm actually, Steve, going to hand it over and see if there's any questions or comments that maybe we can delve into.
Well, Dave, we're in luck because today there are plenty of questions. We've got a lot of folks that have a lot of questions, and I think some of them may have gotten answered along the way, so we'll just kind of peruse through them and try and get them answered and as quickly as we can. So we'll start up at the top. This is from Joe. Do some 401ks allow in-service withdrawals at age 55? Are you aware of any provision for age 55 in-service withdrawal, Dave?
What I have heard is that they can go as low as age 50, but I personally have never seen that. What he might be referring to is if you're in a government plan, like a state government plan, might be federal also, but I know it's state, that you can go in and it bypasses the pre-59.5 rule if you're not employed there any longer. So he might be getting that confused a little bit. But on a 401k, 403b, 457, normally you're going in and you're looking at 59.5 is the rule on that.
And David, it's true that any time there's a separation of service, it opens up the opportunity to move 401k assets.
Yeah, unless, on the really unique thing that the company's in bankruptcy or for some reason they have a hold on that. But you know what? 99.9% of the time, you're exactly right, Steve. Then it opens up. We call that, you know what? I had one yesterday, 200 and some thousand, 250 or 60,000, and we call that a dormant. He doesn't work there any longer. He's not, doesn't work there. He's leaving it there. We call that a dormant 401k. That, of course, is going to be available to roll over to an IRA if they want to.
Sure.
Yep.
And then the next question probably relates back to what we just discussed. Is in-service available on federal TSPs?
Yeah, I don't work with as many thrift savings plans, but I know that I worked with a post office plan, and there she wanted to take all the money out, and we took a portion. And so, yeah, I mean, yes, I'm going to say yes. Again, I'm not the I don't have as much expertise on thrift savings, but I am sure that there is a 59.5 rule that is available there also. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we answered this question. How do you find out if in-service is available with companies? Do you call the plan sponsor, the company HR department, the administrator? How do you normally do that?
You could do all of the above or none, but what happens is if you just call the plan administrator, call the Vanguards of the world, the Fidelities of the world, call the American Funds of the world, T. Rowe Price's, Mass Mutual, Principal Group, on and on and on and on and on and on. You call them, you don't get the broker involved. Because the broker's going to try to save that plan, or the plan sponsor will have advisors there that try to save. If they're going to move it from Fidelity, well, then the Fidelity advisor wants to move it into the IRA for them. But if you call the 800 number, you're on it with them. Yeah, we get no blowback from that whatsoever. They tell you if it's available, and more than half the time it will be available. The bigger the company, the better chance it is to have an in-service. Yeah.
Sure. And as I remember, Dave, in-service non-hardship withdrawals kind of came. Did they all come about in the time of like the Enron, WorldCom?
Yep, you're right, Steve. That's right. All that fall down when things were going to heck in a handbasket. They were available before that, but it wasn't until then that they said, hey, there was few companies had it, but you'd be surprised now. We just did an in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan on a company that, it was a very small, it was 25 people. They had it available. So if it's in the plan documents, if it's written up by the owners of the plan, of the firm, of the plan documents, and it's much more common now than it ever has been.
Sure.
It really is. Yeah, you bet. But you're right. That's when it kind of got its big boost, is when all those fall downs happened.
Yep. Yeah. Really a consumer protection issue, keep them away from having too much concentration in just company stock or very limited product choices. So, and I noticed recently, and I don't know if you saw the headlines on this, Dave, where they were starting to talk about even more and more incorporating annuities into 401k plans. There's definitely a push there for sure.
Yeah, there absolutely is. And you know why that is because there's so few defined benefit plans any longer, i.e. pensions. There's just get a load of this. 20 years ago, there was like 78 or 80% of all Fortune 500 companies had pensions available. Today it's 5.
Wow.
That's it, 5%. So it has gone down that much. And you know what? The pensions for the firemen, the policemen, the teachers, those government workers, those railroad folks, those will be around the longest. But I do believe in my lifetime, of course, I'm going to live a long time, Steve, but in my lifetime, I bet we see where no one gives a pension. Now, they are talking also about, and I don't like this idea, I don't like when anybody's forced to do anything, but they're talking about force people to put money into a defined contribution plan, i.e. 401k. You're forcing someone to take money out. You know what? They already do that with payroll taxes as far as Social Security. I don't particularly like that, but when I start hearing that, what does that mean? They want to make sure, and then they say, and that forced money, a portion of it would go into some kind of a fixed or some kind of an income annuity. You know what I mean? They're forcing money to go on in for another income stream. So you can tell they're getting the government is they're basically just raising the red flag and saying, you know what? We're going to have a time period where there's no other guaranteed income streams, with the exception of Social Security, unless you do it yourself. Maybe we need to force people to do that. I'm not in favor of that, but you can tell where the whole emphasis is going now.
You betcha. And probably an emphasis that may not be bad for the American public, for our economy in general. We've got so many people coming into the systems and so few benefits that people have, made proper planning, and so we can help them with that. For sure.
That's right, absolutely.
Yep. So we have a poll that is pretty much the end of the question. There was more of a comment that, generally speaking, now with most 401k plans, that non-hardship withdrawal with most of the newer plans is kind of part of the default language that a lot of TPAs have in the plans. I don't know that to be true, but it wouldn't surprise me at all that probably the newer a plan is, the more likely it is to have a provision in there for non-hardship withdrawals. It's fairly generous.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Yeah, we're just trying to show something that maybe the average independent agent, advisor, may have heard of it, but really doesn't use it. And that's why I do a procrastination slide. You try to put it into action. I'm telling you what, if you just ask every single person I ask that's still working, I say, do you have an in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan? And then they cock their head like my dog does at me, like, what the heck are you talking about? And then I say what it does. I said, well, could it be available? I said, well, you know what? Who is your plan sponsor with? Well, it's Fidelity is the custodian. Well, let's call them. And then we call them. And then I say, could you have interest? I mean, it looks like it's available. I mean, you got 600,000. I mean, we could, you were just saying he didn't have a very good guaranteed rate or didn't have a very good whatever it happens to be. But I mean, I'll tell you, if you talk to 2 or 3 of those, you're probably going to get one that says, yeah, I'm open. I'm open to try to go in and have more control, have more options. What client or prospect of yours doesn't want more options, an alternative, more choices? Everybody does. Everybody does with the retirement money. So it just opens up. It opens up an avenue that you didn't know existed, and neither did the client. You're doing them a favor, and in turn hoping getting them into a solid financial strategy where you're compensated for your expertise for that.
Well, and we all know that right now there's, if people do their risk profile and they say, given my risk profile, I should probably have, 50 to 60% of my retirement assets in an at-risk environment. And then they realize that, 70% of their retirement assets are their 401k or 80% or 90%, and those are all at risk. It's really a good opportunity to reposition those, a percentage of those into a place where they can get their risk profile kind of trued up. Great way to open a conversation. And I think when people understand the goal that the non-hardship provision has, which is to give people the opportunity to have a little bit more control of their retirement assets, and they want to take advantage of that opportunity, and we can help them with that. And as Dave mentioned, most people are unaware of it. So I think it'd be valuable to spend some time with the coach. Judging by our poll, we have a lot of people that agree with me on that. We've got a pretty good section of people that have not yes or no this. So I think sometimes people are reluctant to put a no because they feel like somehow we take that as an insult of some kind. That is certainly not the case. If this is something that's not of interest to you, very, very familiar with the opportunity, very, very familiar with the ways to go about taking advantage of the opportunity, just hit no on that poll. If you have some interest or want to talk with Dave about anything that he talked about today, or many of you tune in every Tuesday, and that Dave talks about radio and seminars. Dave is really good about helping our producers plan around those kind of key financial deadlines, whether it's 59 and a half or 70 and a half, helping them understand better that there's some decisions that need to be made, and making those decisions in a very well thought out retirement plan. He's really good at helping people with that, and he's very good at helping our producers understand the opportunities around those as well. So hopefully you'll take advantage of some time with Dave. We feel like that it's a great benefit that producers of IAMS have to spend some time with Dave on the phone, and he's keeps real busy. But if you say to his team, hey, I need 15 or 20 minutes with Dave, I bet within 2 or 3 days you'll have that 15 or 20 minutes with Dave set aside. So hopefully take advantage of that. And I see now everybody almost has voted, and almost everybody added yes. Dave, you're a very popular guy today, so congratulations.
Well, you know what? It's my birthday. They want to wish me birthday welcomes, So, yeah. I mean, how can you beat it?
Oh, so when you said I'm 64 today, you meant I'm not. You meant today is your birthday?
Today is my birthday.
Wow! Yeah. Congratulations, buddy.
But Steve, in the school that I went, if I say it's my birthday today, I don't mean yesterday. I tell you what, you
didn't say that. You said I'm 64 today.
No, it's my birthday today.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Birthdays are not always fun, but they beat the heck out of the alternative of no birthday.
They do. That's exactly right.
Well, thank you all for joining us today, Dave. There might be something that you want to say as we close up. I'll give you a birthday minute.
Okay, thanks. Hey, you know what? We're all producers, and you know what? Time is money. And I'll tell you right now, taking 45 minutes or an hour out of your day to go in and listen a little bit, maybe how we can increase your production, how to increase your practice, I really, really do appreciate it. But let's leave this. Let's take something. Hopefully we can talk, but if not, take something you learned today, go put it into action, and it always feels better. I'll tell you what, one of the great cures of life is writing business. Once you write business, it makes everybody feel better in our business. So good luck to you, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Dave, and happy birthday. Thank you all, too, for joining us today. Appreciate it very much. Here at IAMS, we really put a lot of value on folks that take some time out of their day to expand their knowledge and to learn more to help their clients. Those are that's our demographic. We want to be working with advisors that are experienced and put their clients' interests ahead of their own and are willing to take the time to learn a little bit more about some of the things that can affect them and can help them grow their business. So thank you for joining us here today. Let us know how we can help you. We're at 800-255-5055. Call myself, any of your sales directors, and let them know how we can be a better service to you. Thank you all for taking a few minutes out of your day. It means a lot to us, and thank you all for the opportunity to work with you. We appreciate that very much. Have a great finish to your sales week.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.